Hey guys, Desolate Magic here, and we have a ton of spoilers today. I guess today was dump all the rest of the remaining spoilers day, and I'm going to skip over the ones that just are kind of boring. A lot of the filler, vanilla, common stuff, so this won't be all of them, but it'll be all of them that matter. So first up, we are getting a reprint of Evolving Wilds. Fantastic art there, love it. Nice to finally see a reprint of that, always good to have it in standard. And we have, I believe, all 10 Lifelands it is coming back in this set. So that'll be kind of nice. I always appreciated those. Next up, SpringJaa Trap, proving that the humans are dicks. It's a 1-drop with flash, actually. That's interesting. Don't see that very often for artifacts. It's actually not equipment. And if you pay 4 and tap it, it deals 3 damage to any target. I feel like, flavor-wise, it should have said attacking target, but okay. This is actually extremely powerful. Next up, Sleeper Dart, and what is with those red eyes? It's like they just took a highlighter after they drew this and just boop. Anyway, it's a 2-drop artifact, and when it enters the battlefield, draw a card, always nice, and if you tap it, sacrifice it, target creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. That's kind of nice. I mean, for 2 mana, you're almost looking at like a persistent effect for not much more, but it's still pretty good. So the humans have developed tranquilizer dart technology. Okay, if I lived in a city where I had to raise up giant armies just to defend against giant mutant monster creatures, nature was constantly attacking, you're just as a human trying to survive, logically, I'm fully expecting a card that says, burn this mother down. Maybe another one that's just f the jungle, and then with like a flavor text that says nothing lives in these ashes. I mean, you might want to preserve a bit of a food source, but other than that, like, just burn everything down. The forest, the jungle, just everywhere. Just light her up. Ain't no 50-foot beasts running around if they don't have anything to eat. Just saying. Clearly, the humans are going about this all wrong. I mean, seriously, torch the whole damn plane and then start over with just vegetation. It's really simple. So next up, we've got Adaptive Shimmerer. It's a 5-drop with Flash 0/0, and it enters battlefield with 3 counters on it. And that's it. So proliferate card, I guess, or counter moving, I don't know. Oops, burning down the rainforest might not work because we've got Yorian Sky Nomad. I mean, they have bows, and this has to eat something on the ground anyway. It's a 5-drop, 4/5 legendary creature bird serpent. It has companion. Oh, good! And let's see, you gotta have at least 20 cards more than the minimum deck size. Well, not particularly hard to do, but it's a bit of a drawback. It has flying, and when it enters the battlefield, exile any number of other non-land permanents you own and control. Return those cards to the battlefield at the beginning of the next end step. So it's just a mass flickerer. If it's a flicker deck, it's probably a combo deck. It could be a mass CTB deck, but usually it's a stupid glass cannon, cascading combo. And you're not going to pull that off if your deck is 20 bigger than normal, because you need a 4-of to meet up with another 4-of to do the combo. So, yeah, pretty dumb card. Next up, Titan's very flammable looking nest. It's a 4-drop enchantment, 3-color. At the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. You may put that card into your graveyard, exile a card from your graveyard as a cost, and then add 1 generic mana. Spend this mana only to cast a colored spell without X in its mana cost. That is weirdly specific. Well, that's a lot of colors and a big investment for something that does next to nothing. Next up, okay, what are there, 10 of these? I thought we already had 5. It's freaking Genesis Ultimatum, oh good. It's a big bunch of crap cost sorcery. Look at the top 5 cards of your library, put any number of permanent cards from among them onto the battlefield and the rest into your hand, exile this card. Holy shit. Yeah, just free cast the top 5 cards. Why not? It includes lands too. Utterly and completely ridiculous, and this is really close to Simic, and we already have a couple cards that would encourage people to play Simic Splash Red, so this is some bullshit. And the flavor text is, no human eyes have ever witnessed the birth of an Apex monster. Yeah, but I've seen a couple cards get banned, so watching for that one, bitch. Next up, we got Sudden Spinnerets. Kind of interesting. It's instant speed 1 cost in green, and you get +1/+3 till end of turn, and then permanently it gets a reach counter on it, and you can untap it. That is a lot of things that could go right. That said, it is only +1 though. I would have much rather seen this be +2/+2. Next up, Ram Through. It's basically a force fight card except that trample works. That's pretty nuts. Next up, we've got a very second-rate card compared to like Serpent and what's the other one? Ugin's Conjurant, I think, or whatever the hell that thing's called. But yeah, it's Ivy Elemental. It is on color with the big ramp right here, so it's just green plus X. It enters battlefield with X counters, so it's kind of X minus 1. I really don't think we needed another one of these, and plus the other ones are better, but I guess they wanted to preserve it for rotation. Next up, Honey Mammoth. I don't know why I love that name in art so much, but I do. It's a 6-cost 6/6, and when it enters battlefield, you gain 4 life. Pretty just blah whatever vanilla card, maybe okay for draft. I just included it because the name in the art. Next up, really weird card here, Excavation Mole. It's a 3-cost 3/3 with Trample. You know, Trample as a mechanic is a thing. And when it enters battlefield, put the top 3 cards of your library into your graveyard. Now, why would you do that if you're not for sure running black? I mean, that just seems odd. I think green does a little bit with the graveyard, but this just seems like a very odd, like, non-green card. Next up, we've got Adventurous Impulse being reprinted from Dominaria. Did not see that coming, and that was the first time we saw it. It was a little annoying back then because, for one, in green, you look at the top 3 cards of your library, then grab either a creature or land from among them and put it in your hand. Unreliable, unpredictable, but it's also 1-cost ramp, so usually the people playing it and playing against it don't like it. Next up, Spell Eater Wolverine. Looks like he had some Red Bull and then licked a couple outlets, but he's a 3/2 for 3, and he has double strike as long as there are 3 or more instant or sorcery cards in your graveyard, so another Is It card. Oh boy. Next up, if you thought Embercleave was annoying, just wait till you see Raking Claws, which has a more realistic mana cost there. Instant speed, that's fun. Target creature gains double strike till end of turn, also cycling too. Yeah, the bare minimum for double strike should be 3 mana. I think we learned that in Eldritch Moon. Next up, Heightened Reflexes. For 1 as an instant red, you could give a creature +1 attack till end of turn and also permanently give it first strike. Not too bad for 1. Next up, we've got a Ferocious Tigorilla. What the hell? So this abomination of nature is a 4-cost 4/3 cat ape, because of course it is, and it enters the battlefield with your choice of a trample counter or a menace counter, which means it works in 2 different popular decks, theoretically. Next up, big reprint here, Blazing Volley. It is a 1-cost red sorcery, and it deals 1 damage to each creature that only your opponents control. This is the absolute sideboard wonder killer of all, well, 1/1 tokens. I guess not all tokens. Yeah, there's no limit. They could have 30 of them out there and just, no, goodbye. Next up, we got a card that really should have been an uncommon for the purposes of draft. It's Whisper Squad. Now, you can only have 4 in your deck, except for draft and sealed. And in draft, if it's a common, it's going to come up pretty often. I mean, look at how many packs you get past. So, it's a 1/1 for 1, and you can pay 2 and search your library card for a card named Whisper Squad, then drop it right straight into play on the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle. So, that doesn't even require tapping. If you've got like 8 mana, go get, well, I guess not 4 of them. Depends if it's a draft, hey, go for it. Now, if you were to draft like 12 of these, it would be pretty funny because, you know, a couple turns in you'd have an army, but they're 1/1s that don't do anything. So, unless you have a human booster, or some kind of, you know, color-based boost or just something to get them up, I don't think it'll do much, but, yeah, they just need to stop printing automatic fetch cards. Those ones that say when you cast it, go get another one, I just don't like those either. It's just like combined draw and fetch, like card advantage with also battlefield advantage, and also they're usually really kind of crap creatures, so it's like it cuts both ways and it just doesn't really benefit anyone unless somebody does something really degenerate with it. Next up, very important card here, Unexpected Fangs. It's a 2-cost instant in black, put a 1/1 counter permanently and a lifelink counter permanently on target creature. This could single-handedly win the game if you put it on the right creature. Next up, another token sweeper, but this one costs 3. It's Suffocating Fumes, and creatures your opponents control get -1/-1 until end of turn, but not your own creatures, and also cycling too. Because that's cycling, I could actually see people mainboarding it. Next up, a 1-cost kill spell. Hello, except it's sorcery speed, except maybe not. This spell has flash as long as you control a permanent with flash, which, I mean, it's black, why would you? But I'm sure there's like 1. And then as an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature and then destroy target creature. That's just too many downsides. It's just pay for a more expensive spell that's more reliable. Next up, we've got Hunted Nightmare, a rare, hey, double devotion, 3 cost, 4/5 with native menace. Ouch! But whenever it enters the battlefield, target opponent puts a death touch counter on a creature they control. That's right, opponent. So this thing's dead. I mean, if part of the gimmick is you want to goad them into blocking, and then you've also got like an ETB and a death trigger, or you're going to bring it back or something, I don't know, whatever. You're going to probably cost them 2 creatures at 4/5. I mean, the 4/5 with 3 with menace is insane, but as soon as they double block it, the one with death touch is going to kill you. It's still a 2-for-1 though, and you might be able to swing away with it, so this card is absurdly powerful. Plus the double black devotion and the fact that you could just run a black kill spell deck and make sure that they don't have enough blockers to stop menace, and wow, you could run away with the game with this. This is definitely going in my black semi-devotion deck. Next up, Corpse Churn, which is a 2-cost black instant. Didn't see that coming. And put the top 3 cards of your library into your graveyard. Then you may return a creature card from your graveyard to your hand. So whatever giant, obnoxious, annoying, stupid threat that they just got rid of, now they're probably going to have to do it again because you just brought it back for 2. Now, not directly to the battlefield. They still have to successfully cast it and get it to stick again to be a threat to you, really. And that's a downside, but the upside is if their graveyard is completely empty, they'll just, blindly cast this. There goes 3. Hope there was a creature in it. It's almost like a free scry and draw. I really think this should cost 3 and have top 2 cards go to the graveyard just for safety. Next up, we have a truly ridiculous and broken card. It's Wingspan Mentor. It's a human wizard, 3 cost 1/3, and when it enters the battlefield, put a flying counter on target non-human creature you control. Irrelevant, you would put this in an all flyers deck, and then you can pay 3 and tap it whenever you want. Put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control with flying. That's what we needed, a card that's literally, provably worse than just a Lord's card that says flyers get +1/+1. Now they durably, permanently get 1/1 counters in large quantities. What a ridiculously overpowered card. Next up, we've got just a funny card, Startling Development. I guess they're trying to say that hatched from one of the eggs or something. Okay. So it's a 2-cost instant in blue, and until end of turn, target creature becomes a blue serpent with base power and toughness 4/4, also cycling 1. So it's not like a whole lot of persistent damage, but it's a fun little ambush. Next up, the blue Mythos card, Mythos of Illuna. It's a 4-cost sorcery, and create a token that's a copy of target permanent. Oh, because we needed more cloning in the game. That never backfires or gets banned. And then if you added some Christmas mana to that, then instead create a token that's a copy of that permanent, except the token has, when this permanent enters the battlefield, if it's a creature, it fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. Not worth it. I think just mono blue people are going to run this, but Spark Duplicate or Spark Double or whatever is just better. Next up, pretty powerful card here, Hampering Snare. It's kind of a fog card, but it's semi-fog. And you guys know how I feel about, half keywords and half powers. They're a lot more fair than the full-blown versions. So, half fog is 2-cost instant. Creatures your opponents control get -2 attack across the board till end of turn, and then cycling 2 in case you don't need it. Next up, for some reason they added infinite combo bait. We've got Glimmer Bell. It's a 1/3 for 2, flying, and if you pay 2, you can untap it, and that could just cause all kinds of degenerate tap effects. If you find a way to tap this for mana, that's it. Infinite mana. The game's over. What is the point of this? Who do they expect to play it when it's a garbage 1/3 flyer for 2, doesn't hit for shit, doesn't block very well? It's just asking people to do some kind of degenerate untapping combo with this. What were they thinking was the upside of this? Next up, finally, a true ice spell. We haven't actually had one of those in a while. Unfortunately, it costs 5, which is borderline unplayable. But tap up to 2 target creatures at instant speed. Those creatures don't untap during their controller's next untap step, and then cycling 1. Fantastically powerful, but I do believe a while ago we had the same effect for 3 mana. So, not amazing, but not bad. I always appreciate a good ice effect. If you cast it at the right time in the right phase on the right turn, they are without that creature for quite some time. Hey, you want to really piss off your opponent? Flash Crab. It's a 1/6 blocker with flash for 4. Just stupid waste of time, but sometimes you just need a 1/6, damn it. Next up, one of the most troublesome cards in recent standard history, over and over and over every time it's reprinted, Anticipate. This is just pure combo fuel mixed with pure I'm going to shut down everything you do fuel for Esper decks. Never should have been printed. Many, many, many times this card should have been banned. I mean, Preordain, ban it. Ponder, ban it. Brainstorm, ban it. Anticipate, ban it. I don't like cards that just shrink your deck and draw cards and are cantrips. It's just nothing but degeneracy. It's either a combo piece, a kill spell, a board wiper, a counterspell that you're going to get. We all know this. This stupid card. And yes, I know, a lot of the cards I just mentioned are banned in multiple formats. That was the point. Next up, Aegis Turtle 05 for 1, and it doesn't have Defender. Do not underestimate this card. This is an important sealed card, an important draft card. This might even find a place in Constructed. A 05 blocker for 1. Personally, I'd rather have a 1/1 Death Toucher, but I mean, this is blue. Can't really have that. But yeah, this thing will just shut down combat. It is over. They might as well not even swing in all likelihood, or at least not fully swing. And if they do, you're going to block one of them. Well, it looks like we've got white and some tokens left, but it is way past my official bedtime for today because I have to get up 4 hours early to work overtime tomorrow. Yay, I love being an essential worker, and every customer, everyone who calls, it's an emergency. And they're all panicked, short-fused, rude dicks. And you know what? On day 6 of working in a row, so am I. So hopefully I don't get fired tomorrow. But the point of that is I'm going to have to finish these spoilers tomorrow. We have the white cards and then some cool token art. I just do not have time to finish it. I got to edit this shit. So watch for that tomorrow, along with hopefully some coverage of the story finally. Or at least the lore. It's more of a setting dump, an exposition dump about the plane. That's what I'm going to cover. So thanks for watching in the meantime. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss that tomorrow, and I will see you guys next video.